Welcome to Cabinet Day. We are here at USA Cabinets with Obez, who's going to be walking through our options for all of our kitchens and our closet and even some bathrooms too.
Warming up, we got a lot of decisions to make today. Obez, how do we know you?
We've been working with you for about 5 or 6 years now, and you happen to be our #1 client. We're happy to have you. We're happy to work on this beautiful project of yours. So we'll be here for you from A to Z.
I love it. And so we've got some big decisions today. We've got, what do we got today? We've got a primary kitchen, which would be high end. Then we've got built-ins.
Right, built-ins for the dining room area, so we'll have the hutches for our china.
And those will match, yes?
Yes.
Great. And then we've got the primary closet,
Yep.
which we got to decide on budget. I think we're over budget already. And then that needs to match the storage tower in the bathroom.
In the master bathroom.
And then we've got 2 more kitchens, which is for the basement.
Yes.
/ au pair suites. And then the studio, well, actually, it's not a studio. It's a 1-bedroom above the garage. Okay, so where do you want to start?
Primary kitchen.
Let's jump in. We got ahead of ourselves. We already have a marble product, so this is a kind of a very good example of what maybe our kitchen can look like. Yeah. So I guess, Obez, my first question to you is, we've decided to do an inset cabinet. And so for everybody like online, inset, the difference is when the cabinet closes, the door is actually flush and inside of the cabinet structure. And it's much more expensive. How much more is this than a standard cabinet?
The standard inset would probably be around 15 to 20% more expensive than an overlay construction. Inset, as the name itself suggests, it's inside of a cabinet face frame where the doors, like you said, are flush with the cabinet frame.
Yep.
And obviously it's a look that you're paying extra for, not necessarily a construction or a better storage or maximum.
Does it decrease the storage a little bit?
Not necessarily decreasing, but the access to the inside of the cabinet gets smaller.
I see.
But the actual size of the cabinet will be the same.
The actual size and the interior.
I feel like we gotta do this.
Yeah, I'm excited because this morning Jason wasn't so much on board with inset cabinet.
I'm the budget guy. Allie is very in tune to budget, but she also knows what's beautiful. And in the end, I have a weakness.
Weakness for beauty.
Weakness for beauty.
Beauty comes with a cost.
Comes with a cost, but I think this is going to be a very special home for us. And so I think our kitchen and primary suite need to be very special. And just looking at this kitchen, it feels so elegant and elevated. And I think we just need to go for it. Okay, so my big first cost-saving question for you is, I know there's so many different brands like this. What scope of options, like what tier of brand is this here?
The Showplace, it's in that sweet spot where you're getting a maximum of the quality for the money you're paying.
Okay.
Basically, the return on your investment would yield the highest return with this line right here.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not the most expensive, but at the same time, it's not your least expensive inset cabinet manufacturer. But like I said, the turnaround time on a cabinetry and the overall cost is where you want it to be.
Yeah. What about timeline? So if we, right now we're probably looking at kitchen install in 5 months. So what's lead time on a custom?
So the regular lead time on install cabinetry is 8 to 10 weeks at the moment. Unless there are any major modifications, we can increase the turnaround time for an extra 2 weeks, making it 10 to 12.
So
That's
we're
great.
Good. We're
yes.
getting ahead of the game.
We had like a nightmare scenario with our last kitchen.
7 months to get our cabinets custom made in Canada. Why did we choose, do we choose them because I'm from Canada? But yeah, so that's good. So we have some flexibility to get pricing. And of course, it's so nice that we have the layout. The only thing that we also need to decide today is when we're looking at these design features like the 2 pull-outs besides the stove, do you want those to be doors that open? Or do you want some of these custom features, which I think I do, like this, so that you can have your spatulas, imagine like extra storage tools or whatever in the bottom. We just did standard opening cabinets with everything, but I think we can switch up with this in our new place.
Could you show us some of the fun options?
Absolutely. Well, kitchen cabinetry is all about accessory and accessorizing it.
Okay.
So there are tons of different options, from utensils organizers to an in-drawer cutlery organizers.
We've done lots of like basic things and did DIYs in the past, but I think with this house, everything is going to be custom. So like, for example, in here, Allie, like this is built in, whereas we DIY'd our current one with stuff we bought like post cabinet install.
Correct. And as you can see, the drawer itself is a walnut construction with a dovetail joints here. So this
I
is
like
the top.
that.
Do we need walnut?
I don't know, but this is approximately the color we're going for the floor, so that could be
Yes,
cool.
so you understand this is the color of the flooring. And so our plan for the primary kitchen is to have a color like this. Now this is not white, Allie. I actually really like this color. It's an
It's a
off-white.
warm white herm plume.
What is the color?
Herm plume,
Herm plume.
Okay.
which is super hot. So back in the days, it used to be all white, bright white, one color white. Now it's tons of different off-white shades.
I like it. It's less stark.
This might tie into the deep blue marble that we're planning on doing.
We're looking for a marble with some sort of like purple blue veining.
I'm biased
and
to
then
blue.
do a white La Cornue stove with the brush or the antique brass.
The beauty of Showplace is that it also allows you to do a true custom color. You can pick any color from Sherwin Williams or Benjamin Moore color wheel.
And we
That's
would like to
amazing.
do 2 different colors. So our cabinets will be white along the perimeter of the kitchen and then do a pop of color on the island.
So 2 things to think about as we're talking this through, because it's so different once we're in person. So the La Cornue
Yes.
stove
Yes.
that we're ordering, we want to know what color white that is.
Okay.
Because if you've got a bright white stove, you want that to tie into the white of the cabinet and the white of the wall, even though I know we're going to have a lot of paint.
Right.
But I
Have
think
you
that
worked
tone,
have you worked with La Cornue before?
Not really, to be honest.
it's a
with
super
you.
fancy French stove.
I've heard that it's a custom top of the line, so
And you can custom any color, but then they have a pretty robust.
So I think we can take a note and we'll say, what
Yeah.
color is that stove? Because we can pick any color from Sherwin-Williams. And
to add a side note to that is you can pick any color from a color wheel, but obviously it will come up, there'll be a custom color surcharge or an upcharge.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can get their base colors and see what's standard.
There are tons of really nice natural, the selection. They do have a different, they offer tons of different finishes when it comes to different paint and stain as well. So since we are working with a Showplace, which is a semi-custom / custom line cabinetry, you can pick and choose your door profile, your construction, inset versus overlay versus fully
So we
access
could
frame.
get, for layman's terms, we could get the inside to be the same color as our floors.
The inside it's a standard, either depending on your selection of wood species, being maple, hickory, or whatever.
Yep.
So the standard interior would have a oak or maple finish,
Yep.
or you can upgrade your inserts or drawers to be a walnut construction.
Well,
Okay.
we'll have to get some pricing on that. Yeah, but I think the idea, this feels very, I don't want to use the word cheap, but this has a very different look. Like if I was flipping a $600,000 or $700,000 property, I would use this. When I open up the door, this has like a much higher level of elegance to it that I think might be worth it again just in the primary kitchen. So for a baseline, I'm kind of absolutely in love with this finish. Are you?
I like it. I definitely do. And I like, so long as it works with the white stove, which I'm sure won't be that difficult to match
Okay,
it.
but the style of cabinet I'm also
Yes.
really in love with.
Yes.
So when we go look at the design, we can make those selections. For now, as we're looking for this, I think I'm drawn to a walnut finish inside, the Inset cabinet. We can choose color later. We'll get the base colors from you, that's standard. And then we can look at custom versus standard.
Yes.
Good with that?
Yes, and then for the coloring for the island and then also the built-ins. For the built-ins, we have a vision of using an oil-based paint, so like a glossy paint.
Is that possible?
We can work on a different sheens here. We can increase the sheens so it gives you that glossy, more of a satin finish. Because I think the one that you're seeing here is a matte finish, so
And is it
that's why
like-
it doesn't really.
Is it like a satin finish or is it like have you seen the oil-based paints that are like very
Super high gloss.
super high gloss?
That we would have to check with the manufacturer
Okay.
and see if they can match the gloss, sheen of paint. Yeah.
But I know what you're going for. And then one thing to note, so our island, we want the island base to be the same color as our floor.
As the floor.
Is that possible?
If it's a stained floor, we'll have to see how close we can match that stain, because by nature, stain is really hard to match, especially if it's two different wood
Wood
species,
types,
wood
yeah.
types, yeah.
So for the actual island cabinet itself, what would our options be to get like a dark tone like this?
Walnut is definitely an option,
Okay.
and pretty much we can take a
And
look
that's
at
for the
closer
outside
look.
though, not the inside. Like if we want
The outside, the
outside
exterior
can
finish,
be-
correct?
can be
Yeah.
walnut.
Yeah, so we're thinking white along here,
Yep.
walnut here, and then a glossy blue of some sort for the built-ins in the dining room.
Yes, sure. Okay.
Bold moves.
Wallpaper inside.
So we'll just want to take note, Allie, that this island is going to be a walnut,
Right.
and we can just match the floors to this. Is probably what we're going to do, because I'm not like stuck on a certain floor color. I just want a darker tone. I don't think we've got it in the budget to do walnut floor, but we could probably do wide plank oak as the plan, and then stain the oak to the island color. Is probably what we'll do. Are we making decisions right now, or what?
We can do walnut wood,
Yeah.
and we can stain it in a few different stain options.
Ooh. Walnut natural is calling to me.
I think I like that because I think we need a little more softness.
This is too gray,
It's also too matte.
too matte,
It needs like a little bit of
too dark and black,
natural,
too gray,
too gray.
too gray, too dark.
Yeah, even though I do like that other one, I think it's between these two.
This two-tone here, so what's this different tone with this here?
It's just the nature of a wood. It shows the wood
Oh, it
grain
shows the
differently.
three different sheens, see? 1, 2, and 3.
I see.
They're all finished differently.
I like this finish the best.
This right here in the bottom. Walnut natural satin.
Walnut natural satin, and that is the actual walnut natural satin.
Ah, so
It just shows, yeah.
It seems
just,
like it has a bit of a red undertone to it.
So there is no telling, there is no sort of a standard walnut finish when it comes, because you basically, the reason you would want to go with a walnut is just to show the richness of the wood grain
because this
itself.
walnut's going to have this really large, wavy
Sharp
finishes to it.
differences or variations of a wood grain. Even if it's a single door or same door rather, you can see the difference.
And you're going to get oranges in with the darker browns, which I don't think you want, right? Okay.
Then I would recommend
Like a cooler tone.
we would probably would switch from walnut to a maple.
Can we see what maple would look like? Oh man, getting more complicated here.
So did you show him the...
Maple's very Canadian too. Just saying. Keep the Canadian thing.
Did you show him the poles or the, the pictures that we saw on Instagram of the built-ins?
Yes, that's probably something custom that we'll add on top of
These
it.
are all of our maple choices and different stain options with maple.
Too light, probably the closest one, yeah?
Yeah.
This is too orange.
Yeah.
And this is like really
It
dark.
would be really stark.
And like that's pretty darn close to what we had been going on here.
It's not quite right.
A lot more options of different maple finishes.
Probably a
When we were staining our floor in our current home, it was one of the hardest things.
Nose. So far, this is your top content. These are your top contenders.
And then what we can do is we can order an actual door sample. Once you kind of narrow it down to what wood species and what stain option you're interested in.
Let's look at oak. Why we have it? This is hickory.
Oak's over here.
Hickory's probably a bit much.
Oak is probably a little more rough on a filling. When you kind of touch and feel it, you would see the actual grain patterns versus all other wood species be a lot more smoother.
I'm about to point on one and just select it. I get decision fatigue quickly. Allie can have like 9 years of research and have like unlimited stamina. You've got me for like 30 minutes to make 10 decisions and then I'm done.
You don't love to research. I'll give you that.
I like to make quick decisions. I don't know. I'm not a big. I love this.
That one's my favorite.
This right here.
The bottom finish.
Yeah.
There's 3 tones here, 1, 2, and 3. It's this tone right here.
It'll be like that. You will see all those variations of different grains.
And that's why it's, but this is more orange, I think. If we can have these 3 tones, I'm good with that.
Yep.
If these 3 tones are mixed into wood like this, that's perfect.
Except I was curious about the other Inset cabinet that I saw over here, just what the distinction was. It was more of a French style.
Price point wise, this probably be 15 to 20% of an upgrade
To that.
to that.
I really like looking at
Okay, I like the texture. I think this one seems more finished to me.
this. Is very French style.
And we're having a French stove.
I appreciate, okay, taking budget aside, I appreciate the more simple modern look of this, whereas this is more, I don't know, like farmhouse, country style,
Cottage chic.
cottage. Whereas this is like, I still feel like we're like modern chic Georgetown. It's classic, it's simple, but it's still like a modern twist on things. I feel like this is too cottage.
Okay. It needs different hardware though.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like the hardware, like the nails, right? It's like the finishes, everything. But like, imagine if you had the classic hardware that you see here on those cabinets. I think it would transform the space a little bit. The other thing we can do is the finish molding on the top. This is a very simple finish molding. That's a super finished, simple molding. You can do more ornate finished crown molding on the
Yes,
top
yes.
to tie it into this space a little bit more. And that crown molding is like $3 to $6 a foot. Whereas instead of paying 10 grand more for this cabinet, we can just spend $1,500 more on finishes, like finished detail woodwork.
What do you think about the range in the hood?
I like a very simple range hood that matches the style of the cabinet, like what we have in our current house.
Okay, so something white.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the whole kitchen needs to be completely covered. And this is a perfect example of us having marble all the way on the countertop and all the way on the backsplash. So I did some research. They have like, you know how I like vinyl wrapping my cars? You can vinyl wrap the top of your marble. There's a product now that you can place on top. That's a plastic vinyl finish.
Okay.
Yeah, I did some research. Whoa, I know, big deal. Okay, you want to come back and make some more detailed decisions?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so as we're making progress.
What you saw on that display is that it's a different door profile,
Yes.
meaning here is more of a classic shaker door profile. That is more of a, although that has the recessed center panel, but it has an applied center molding here. Meaning we could have a similar door profile with showplace and have it as an inset as well.
Can we see
which
that?
essentially would give you a similar look, but for a
Do you have something that you could show us like that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just go over the different door profiles here.
Okay. Do you want to take those over and compare?
I like this.
We can bring them over.
Sure.
I don't know. I really like what they got here. I just love how simple it is. I love just the simple square because it's slightly tapered. It's square, but there's a slightly like it's like almost like a 20-degree taper to it.
It's a, yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. It's a slanted shaker profile, whereas a traditional shaker would have a very straight cut.
Do you see how this feels a little bit more? I don't know. It just feels a little
Okay,
bit
so
more
you're
old
saying-
school.
yeah.
And this is like super specific. Whereas this profile is extremely shallow. I think that's also. Well, no, I was going to say it's exposed because of the glass, but see how shallow the profile is?
Okay.
I like that look a lot. I think this is a bit much. And do you see how deep the profile is? It's really deep. Dust and cleanliness.
And nearly 50% of the market, especially in the United States, is the shaker door style.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, Al. Can I make a judgment call on that one?
Okay.
Okay, so now we get to some more detailed stuff, which is like the super fun, functional, how do we want to use our kitchen stuff, which is super fun. So my first thought is this here is your pantry. So right by the fridge, as a realtor, I'm always like function, opening up doors for clients, like pantry, fridge, I think is like essential. And then you've got tools, which would be spatulas and pans. And then on the top is spices and oils, right? Big cabinet, tiny cabinet. And this is like all the stuff that you'd never use because.
So if we're looking at this, where are our dishes? Are our everyday dishes going to be in our hutch?
So all of our nice everyday stuff, your china is going to be here and here. All of the linens that are taking up space are all here.
Okay.
So we have a ton of stuff. And
Like,
then,
is our everyday china going to be on display here, do you think?
no, I think just China and
Where
crystal.
where
But
are
think,
everyday plates going?
but think about our kitchen. Half of our kitchen right now is crystal and China.
Right?
Well, now all of that's going to go into these. And then, so if you look at the kitchen profile, this is one wall, this is your next wall here.
I see.
So you've got your two dishwashers. I figure all of your day-to-day plates are up here.
Yes.
All of your day-to-day cups are here, but then you have all the storage above your bar. So this is coffee cups,
Perfect.
mugs, all of the extra storage stuff that you need, coffee, stuff storage all goes underneath here. So what this wall really just becomes is pantry, fridge, all of the big stuff, the platters that you use for entertaining, and this is spices and oils and utensils for this space. Now in this drawing, we don't have a drawer at the top, so you could do drawer, base, or you could have, you know, so a drawer would look like this, you know, with extra custom things like this, and they've got like the little perfect custom for all of the different pieces and things that we currently have jumbled everywhere. Or you can, so instead of having drawer base, you can have just a pull out like this. So would you want this room for all your spatulas and everything?
I don't, what do you recommend is the best way to stir or to store pans?
And right now we're talking about, Ovez, we're talking about this section right
Back wall with
here,
the range
these
set.
on the either side of the stove.
Like baking pan.
So my go-to approach, if it's the range wall, what I like to keep close to my range is what I use during cooking. So it could be your utensils such as spoons and spatulas, or your spice pull-out.
Because what you can't notice is this is an L. So the kitchen goes to a corner here, and this is where the corner changes. So this is the back wall of the kitchen. This corner, I guess we'd put a Lazy Susan here.
Lazy Susan would probably get you the maximum storage out of a corner space because corners can be a little tricky. And Lazy Susan is probably the most functional way to utilize the corner space.
I agree.
Okay, so Lazy Susan goes in this corner right here. You can see how you only have one drawer before the corner.
Right.
See that?
That's the corner. That's the cabinet next to
So for spatulas, cutting boards, baking pans, you've got two
Cookie
drawers.
pans with cookie sheets and a tray organizer is another option because it's a long and skinny cabinet.
Yeah.
And would that be vertical or horizontal?
Vertical.
Okay.
Vertical, yeah.
Do you like this as function or is this super annoying for you? Would you rather have a small drawer?
I think I would rather have a small drawer.
So I have an idea. So what if we did a small drawer on top and then a baking sheet slider in the bottom?
Love it.
Okay, so that'll be one side. So this would be sheets of baking sheets with the dividers. They all go in, you just open it up and pull it out. And then on top would be your drawer that you pull out for whatever that you want. On this side, we can do a double tray and you can do a spice rack on the top because you love spices, and right now we have to go into, I don't want to go into the Lazy Susan and spin it and grab the spices, super annoying. So what if we did a spice rack on top, which is a drawer, and then on this, so it would be small cabinet on the top, but one would just be scissors, and then the other one is a pull out, and it can be for all your baking oils and everything like that.
Cool. Can do that.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
So with spices, typically what we do it's either a long, skinny vertical organizer
Yeah.
with a bunch of different shelves,
Yeah, I think I
or
like
it's
that.
more of a horizontal spice with a slanted.
They're like slanted like
I don't
this.
like
Yeah, and then you can actually read the labels.
So in here, we want one that has two shelves with spices and then space in the bottom for other things.
Yep.
Spices?
Yes.
Spices, but in this orientation, vertical.
Not the diagonal.
Spices, and then oils.
Spices and oils. Okay.
Because if you want, you don't have to do oils there because this you'll also have this storage space on either side like we have now for oils, peanut butter, and everything else. And then you'll have your pantry. Isn't this exciting?
Very.
Okay, so that's what those are. Now you get onto the opposite side. Ovez, how big are these? Is this two separate pullouts?
That's a Lazy Susan and a 6-inch cabinet, but we
So-
can modify that. We can make it 9 or 12.
So this cabinet here is an additional pull-out option
Okay.
where we can pull it out and put additional items in, but I think it needs to be vertical oriented like this due to its width. And so that is in the corner of the kitchen, which is right here, right by the stove still.
Okay.
So if you wanted to, that could be, is that, how wide is like pots and pans? Probably couldn't put pots and pans
Pots
there.
and pans would be a little too skinny or too small for that.
Where do
so-
you recommend pots and pans?
Pots and pans is probably where the island is at the moment,
Okay.
or the opposite side.
Yeah, where's the island? We don't even have island on here, do we?
I don't think there is an elevation of an island.
So you're gonna have drawers on either side of the sink. I think both of those are super deep and used for pots and pans.
So we have a sink in the island. Mm-hmm. Are we
Would
going?
that be your secondary sink
Secondary
or
sink.
more of a
Do you want
prep
two
sink
sinks?
for
So I thought we had a farmhouse sink by the.
You do. You have a large sink by the window.
Yes.
So the question is do you want an additional sink in the island? Or if you don't have a sink in the island, what you can do is all of that becomes mega storage. So it's sink or storage.
Seems to make more sense.
heavy duty workhorse type of a storage space?
I think
All the
storage.
big pots and
Do you want these glass or open? Glass or closed?
I want to have some glass, but
I think closed. This is where your clutter is.
yes.
okay with that?
But where are we going to put the glass? Let's decide that.
Well, this is all glass. This is all glass.
And that's dining room.
Yes, this is pantry, which we can talk about shortly.
Yeah.
I think these need to be closed.
Yeah.
So if you were going to do glass, you want it to be symmetrical. I mean, this could be glass here on either side of the window. I'm not quite sure if that makes sense. It would kind of feel like this.
I like that.
So if we did that though, this is nicely displayed.
No pressure's on to make it like. Nice.
Well, the stuff on either side of our hood range is not display. It's really like function.
Right.
So I don't know if that
But
makes
now
sense.
we're talking about other sides of the sink.
Yes, but the only
It's
problem with
symmetrical.
symmetry is that it's not symmetrical.
Yeah, unless we did this only, but that's weird.
Right, so if you're gonna do glass, I think you're doing glass on this side. Like, this is a double door, that's a double door, they can all be glass. But that is also where your day-to-day cups and like coffee stuff goes. So if this is all glass, glass is more expensive. Like this can all be standard Inset cabinet and this can all be glass.
Let's do that.
Okay, I feel good with that. Yay, perfect. And then hood range, we're gonna do, so question, do you like a smaller format hood range where marble can be exposed on either side? Our current home, the hood range expands the entire width of the cabinet and is enclosed to the cabinet.
Yes.
What would you,
Never thought about it, but we could do marble all the way up.
be very expensive.
That seems like it would be very cool.
I think we should do it.
Let's do it.
We're blowing our budget! Ah! Okay, makes me a little nervous. So the hood range, we don't have to pick the hood range design today, but like, I think this ties in really beautifully, just kind of throwing that bombshell out there.
Yes, we'll make it white.
Make it white, and then see this trim detail on the very top? You can add that trim detail along the top here, potentially,
Okay.
or on the bottom.
So whatever molding we decide to do at the top, we can
Yep.
just make
Yeah,
harmonious with
we can
this.
add it anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be more of an accent piece
Accent,
that
yeah.
kind of accentuate the whole.
But I'm totally good with this.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay,
But
and
the
so
marble would go around? or
all the
would
way,
go-
yeah, the hood range would get applied on top of a piece of marble that goes floor to ceiling.
Love it.
And then we're going to do lighting in the china cabinets. So we'll do lighting in the china cabinets. The hood range, we're good with this. And then we'll also do lighting below all the cabinets as well.
Yep.
Is that a built-in LED or is it just installed separately?
LED strips.
Yeah.
And they're installed separately.
Okay,
So
good.
that'll be a separate switch and
We
dimmers.
we were crazy and did a custom built-in LED in our current house and it made it very expensive. So we're not going to do that this time. It's not needed.
Why did we do that?
Because we were learning. Okay, so last big decision for today is pantry. So he already sold me on this. Ready for this, Allie?
I like it.
It's so cool. I could like live in here. Oh shit, sorry. Function.
Great.
talk about function. Now the question is our cabinet wide enough to do something like that? It's very narrow.
Question is that wide enough?
Is it really just one side? Like, is it just one cabinet that we probably
We'll have to
open
check
it up?
that with the manufacturer specs, but
I feel like this is the width of that pantry space.
6-inch unit here, and yours is shown as a 24.
Yeah, 24.
Don't crush my dreams.
Let me work on it, double check, and see if we can
Allie,
make
you
it
know how much
happen now.
stuff we can fit in here?
Your favorite thing.
Organization. So I'm super excited about this because instead of doing a double door, it'd be one single door with stuff like this, or you'd be dealing with a pullout like this.
A wider option of, and I have something similar, very
I'm
similar.
not opposed to either.
I don't mind this.
I like this better,
I'm
but-
completely fine with this. I just think that this is so much more functional. I will say one thing though, because I just knocked this over. If you had stuff that was tall in here and you opened this really fast, this stuff's gonna wobble
it
and fall
moves,
out.
yeah.
Whereas with this, well, you're still gonna have to pull it out slowly. Jason proof. Oh yeah. And this has the wood detail on the inside instead of being all metal.
Oh, I like this.
I think this is
seems like-
so cool.
Yeah.
Sold? We're decision ninjas.
That's a wrap on this kitchen design episode. Thank you for joining us. So we hope that you will like and subscribe and follow along with us as we continue to have our kitchens come to life.
Let's go.